Everybody. Welcome to the first episode of my new show called Under the Radar Radio. I'm your host, David Wright, aka Bishop Down, aka the Swarthy One. And just here, um, giving my honest opinion about life. My honest opinion about life and a little bit about history and the way things are. Um, just what I always like to say: speaking or talking truth. Um, so I I just keep going. I'm just gonna keep going. Um, I thought about not doing it, but I was just like, you know what? One day somebody's gonna listen to this and it's going to change their life, and that's just the way that I feel about it because there's so many things out there that we don't understand, that we don't know. But there are things out there that, there are breadcrumbs that are out there that will lead us to some kind of clarification. So when I hear things, as I'm always looking and researching and listening for the truth, if I hear it, if I get it, I'll definitely share it. So that's what we're doing here. So um, I used to do a show called the WPD Kenton Radio Show, but I just changed it, kind of changed the name, and gonna be doing it. Just I started a whole new channel, so it's under the Swarty One because I'm a Swarty guy. I'm a Swarty person. You look at the word Swarty, that means a dark skinned person. There's some other things related to it, and I got the name from listen to the gentleman's video Kumero, and shout out to him because he did a great job. He does a great job on explaining things and teaching things. It's just his videos are so long, but that's fine. You know what I mean? I got the time, so I took a couple of days to watch them. Sometimes I just watched the one about called the Huguenots, which I never knew what a Huguenot was, but now I do, and it makes a whole lot of sense as to what I'm getting ready to kind of elaborate on, as far as like the things that are going on today, and why things are the way they are. And that video was 5 hours long, but I sat there and I took a couple of days to watch it because the information was just very amazing. So it's kind of helped me to understand a lot of things. So but that's why I'm coming in to give you guys this video. And I was just gonna do a regular recording and then post it, but I figured I'd do a live one. I don't know why. I can't even figure out why I'm doing live right now. But I am, and I'll continue to do it. I think because I was doing it before, and maybe just try to get kind of like a different feel or a different atmosphere. Um, I don't know, because even if I do like a regular video, it's gonna be the same. I'm just gonna be sitting in front of the, because I don't really do any editing at all. Actually, I don't do any editing. Even when I do my other videos, I used to, but I just got I guess I just got tired of trying to edit this and edit that, and I didn't get all the views that I wanted and all this stuff. So I was just like, But now I'm not worried about views. I'm not worried about likes. You know what I mean? If you guys want to like and subscribe and comment, that's great. I love the feedback, but if you don't, that's fine because this information is out there and it needs to be repeated and repeated and repeated and repeated over and over again until we get it. So I did write down some talking points here. So let me just go through them and see if we can go through them. What I got here: skin folk ain't kinfolk, Protestants, Coptic, Black Irish, Black Dutch, the Vikings or the Six Kings, Vikings, Cain and Abel, Christianity versus albinism, or Christianity versus Muslim, I guess. Muslims and Jews, the Moors. Here we got Huguenots, assimilation, indentured slaves, monetary system, spells, propaganda, mixing of families. That's kind of all I wrote down there. So that's a whole bunch of stuff. But I'm not gonna make this video too long. I just wanted to kind of explain what I got from Merrill's video about the Huguenots. And so basically what a Huguenot is a Moor and a Jewish person with a swarthy complexion, like basically a dark-skinned Jew, or they call them like Coptic Jews. There's some other words that are used, or Moorish people from wherever they begin, but from I guess over the area of Spain. You want to say Spain, Hispania, whatever. But if you know anything about the Moors, you know that they conquered and they ruled Spain for a long time, and they were all over the world, all over the globe. I've heard about the Moors being everywhere, and the science of the Moors, and all this, things about the Moors, and Moor supposedly meaning black. But from what I heard, that the word Moor doesn't necessarily mean a black person. It means it was like a title to say that they were better, but not in the sense of like genetically being better, but in the sense of being like they were more, they were well off, they were more than the normal person, they were more, higher, greater, which kind of ties in with the Jews as well, because people see the Jews like that too, as well as more, better. But then when you get into like the type of people these were, they were like everywhere, but they did a lot of different things. They had a lot of different trades. They moved around a lot because a lot of, they didn't, some people didn't get along with their way of living or the way that they did things, but, learned that they were bankers. They were blacksmiths. They learned planting crops, agriculture, merchants as far as like selling of people. That's kind of what with the slavery thing, the indentured servitude. They were silks and texture stuff, like things of that nature. Builders. They were also the Huguenots were known as like warriors and fighters and sailors, and they knew navigation, all this stuff. Like, it all ties in with the Moors and the Jewish people, right? And so apparently these Huguenots were everywhere. They were everywhere, like all over. Like but you had all different types. Some in Arabia, whatever you want to call Arabia. They were everywhere there in quote unquote Africa, South Africa, Europe, Italy, France, South America, in the Caribbean, over in the Americas, Canada, the Netherlands, Holland, like all these places where these Huguenots were. And basically, so what happened, they were in Spain and whatnot, but basically all this happened when when the Moors lost their control of Spain. in the late 1490s or whatever. So then they kicked all the they kicked all the Huguenots out. They kicked all the Moors out and the Jews out. They kicked them all out. Not all of them left, but a large amount of them did. But it seemed like everywhere they went, uh, they were allowed to be there. Like they were given respect and they were given help, like everywhere they went, and which is understanding because I guess of the skills that they had, the knowledge that they had. So they were, they went to France, South France, and all these other places, and they came over here. I mean, there was even records of them bringing over indentured servants or slaves all the way before before 1601, when supposedly they brought the first slaves from Africa, which we know that story didn't really even go like that, because what happened in that story, there were pirates, and pirates attacked the ship that somebody was trying to smuggle some quote unquote African slaves. I guess they were from Africa. We don't really know, but it was like, I don't know, 10 of them or something like that. And the pirates overtook their ship. And then the pirates actually brought them to wherever it was, Virginia or some Jamestown, some crazy stuff like that, right? So apparently those people were African people, but I'm not sure what part of quote unquote Africa. I don't know, but there's earlier records where they brought people from the Caribbean up to South Carolina. But these Huguenots were doing this. And it's like the Huguenots, pretty much what they were able to do, they call them like chameleons, because they're able to assimilate in any society they were in. And they always assimilated. They always were successful, prosperous, and then they married into the families of the people or their Aboriginal people that they went into these lands. Whatever lands they went into, they took on their custom, and they actually became those people. It's like they didn't care about their heritage. They let their heritage go, but they still kept all the skills and skills pay the bills. They still kept all their skills and the ways that they did things to amass great power within the societies and the cultures that they integrated in. And they did this everywhere, like everywhere. They did this everywhere. And this country, America, is a direct result of that. It's a direct result of that. I mean, but you watch the video, you'll get more understanding of it, because there's just so much that was going on into it, and which kind of lets me know now that I see it. Since these Huguenots didn't keep their identity, like they became like the Irish, they became the Germans, they became the Dutch, they became the Native Americans, the Native Indians that were here. They became these people, and you wouldn't even know that they were a Huguenot, because they're not going to tell you. But they still keep some of their traditions and all the names. There's so many names. Cooper was one that brought up and these names of these people. Like if you take all these famous people and all these people who are, quote unquote on top, they had all the money, they're probably Huguenots. They're probably more than likely Huguenot or Huguenot descendants. Because all these names, they always change the name of things. They always change the name. Even the Huguenot, some people say Huguenots, Huguenots, and it's spelled differently, but that's the way that the spells work. That's how they keep everything going. The spell, they use different words and they spell things differently. Because for them, the energy and the meaning is still on that root word. They just changed it to assimilate, to conform in the society that they're in. So when they try to tell you that, you got all you black folk got your name from slave masters, see, this is not true. We didn't get our names from slave masters. We got our names from being assimilated into these families. It wasn't like a slave master say, "Oh, I bought you. Now you got to take my name and all the stuff like that." No, we already had names. We had first and last names of our Aboriginal people here, and then when these Huguenots came over, there was a lot of infighting because some our people didn't want them over here, but then some people did want them over here. I mean, because they had money, they were wealthy. They just didn't come in here with nothing to offer. They offered a lot, enough so where the families intermixed and they may have changed their last name to a similar last name as one of our last names. And then once they did that, then they married into the family. So let's say we had a last name and then they changed their last name. Let's say, for instance, their last name was like, I don't know, Huguenot, or whatever, because these guys are coming from German, Italy, they're coming from the Netherlands, they're coming from Canada, they're coming from England. Like a lot of the Europeans that came over that they say are white people, they weren't white, they were Huguenots, swarthy Huguenots, swarthy English coming over here. That's what they skin folk ain't always kinfolk, right? That's what they're saying. So, like I said, they had the same complexion skin as the people that were already here, but they're different people, different custom. They were what do they call them? Protestant. They call them Protestant. That was the religion, Protestant. So Protestant is against the Catholic Church. Catholics and Protestants, they don't get along, and the Catholics, they kick the Protestants out. Protestants, Coptic Jews, right? So all this stuff, right? So whatever their last name was, let's just say it was Huguenot or something like that. So they changed their name to Huguenot or whatever to make it sound more like the tribe that they were in, and then they married into that tribe, and then they would take on the names and other things would change, stuff like that. And this is what built this country. These Huguenots coming in here, buying up land. They were buying land, they were buying land, they were buying land, and they were moving people from one area to the other. This is like what do they call it? An early example of redlining, or what's the what they call it? Gentrify to everybody now, because that's the only way we see we got to do it. We got to do it to everybody in order so this doesn't happen to us again. You know what I mean? Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. But all these Huguenots came in here, started buying up land. I mean, they were buying lots and lots and lots of land, lots and lots and lots of land, lots of land, and then giving, putting their families, their people in position. I mean, when they came over, they brought a lot of slaves with them, indentured servants, people of their family. And this is something that is still going on today. I mean, you think about it, right? You got a family that wants to send their listen to my kids, they're yelling. So let's say you got a family that wants to send their kid to school, or they want to send their kid to get a better education. Okay, but they want to send them to America, but they don't have the money to do it. So what do? They put their child in an indentured servitude program, a slavery program, or they go into a slavery program where they come over. This family, they're going to take care of this kid. They're going to raise them up like their own, but they have to pay back. Hey. But they have to pay off that debt, whether they have to pay it off by working for something. Hey, come here. Y'all stop yelling, okay? Stop yelling. Okay. All right? Okay. All right? Okay. Bye. And that child has to do what? That child has to work for this company for a certain amount of years, or do this to pay off their debt, or their parents have to do that, right? So they can get into this family, or that child has to marry into one of their other families. Like this still happens today. The slavery is not done. It's not over. It's still very much in existence today. That happens all the time. And then you have these Huguenots that have assimilated everywhere. Like a lot of these, even a lot of these people coming from India, you think they're Indians. They're not Indian. They're Huguenots. Huguenots that have been assimilated, and then the Arab people. These are the same people, but they came over here, mingled in with the indigenous people, our people, and they produced an offspring in the society that they all work together to build. But the Huguenots, like I said, that was the whole thing with the with the founding fathers. A lot of people think these guys are white people. They're not white people. They're Huguenots. George Washington, um, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Banneker, Paul Revere, um, I think Tom Wolfe, and um, even like W.E. Du Bois, his people, they're Huguenots. They're Huguenots. They're descendants of the Huguenots. All those people, and that's why we know that all the presidents are related because they're all Huguenots. They're all of these Moors, these Jews, these Moors, these Coptic Jews. These are the people, and they wrote in themselves this declaration for themselves to govern themselves. And now we got this thing. Now we have that in our blood, in our blood, and it's in our mind now. So what are we doing now? Now we're assimilating. That's what we are doing. We are assimilating to be. You either have to be black or you have to be white. You're gonna be black or you're white. And now people, oh, Asian. I'm assimilating to Asian, or I'm assimilating to Latino, or I'm assimilating to LGBTQ, or I'm assimilating to African American. Like all these things are different ways that we're assimilating, but we're forgetting who we are because that's what they did. Well, they didn't forget who they are, but they were proud. They didn't care about giving up their identity. They would change their name in a heartbeat to gain power. They didn't care about that because that's what they wanted, and they're still doing that. I mean, but that's what we're doing now. We are assimilating that. We are descendants of Huguenots and Native people, and we're assimilating to be different things when we're not really that, but we think we are. That's why it's important. You got to do your genealogy to go back and find out who you are, where your people come from, because you could be leaving money on the table. You could be a descendant of a Huguenot family you didn't even know, or a wealthy family that you didn't even know about, based on your genealogy, and you're missing out. Or you're not getting what you're supposed to get because you don't know who you are, because, somebody may have a child with this person out of marriage or whatever, but you're still part of that family. I mean, it's a very, very, very powerful thing. And it's just like, wow, I didn't know that. I was just like, it's amazing. It's very amazing that happened. You know what I mean? I didn't talk about the Vikings, the Six Kings, because I don't know too much about it, but they mentioned that too. Vikings with the VI 6, and then Kings, VI King, 6 Kings. I don't know. That's something interesting too. And then the whole thing. There was I should have put that up there. That's the picture I should put up here. You know what? I'm gonna do that for my caption. I'm gonna change the caption of this because there's a flag. There's a flag. It's not a flag. It's like a standard they show. Maybe I can find it where it's talking about the 7 heads and the 7 horn and the 10 horns of the beast, and this is the mark of the beast. But these are like crests and stuff like that. But it's very interesting. I'm definitely gonna make that my thumbnail for this live video. So I gotta do some work to make that thumbnail. But it was just really interesting. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's out there that, well, we're not seeing. You know what I mean? But I look at these people. These people that are these pale faces. You think they're pale faces? The Huguenots. And you look at a lot of us. We're Huguenots as well. But we don't know it. And we try to give all the credit to You know what I mean? Because and I know because a lot of the indentured servants that they brought over were pale faces. The pale face people they brought from England, poor people they brought. Because like I said, the Huguenots they were wealthy, very powerful. So they could bring 200, or they could bring 30 or 40 people that they had in their clique. You know what I mean? But these people worked for them, and they brought them over too, and they helped build them up as well. Interesting, right? Interesting. All right, so I gotta get that flag. I think I pretty much talked about everything. Yeah, but who's ever joined? I don't know if anybody's even in here. Is anybody even in my room? I don't even know. It doesn't matter.